We are back inside the Clark Athletic Center. Took a little bit of a break this afternoon, but it's nice to be back with you. Earlier today, you watched your UMass Boston Beacons take home their second victory of the season in a convincing clean sweep over Keuka College. Can they make it 3 in a row? That's what we'll find out in this afternoon's contest. Your 2-4 UMass Boston Beacons hosting the Maine Maritime Academy Mariners, who come into this contest a perfect 6-0 on the season. Their most recent victory, Maine Maritime's probably their closest. They were leading 2-1. They had a 14-2 point lead in the fourth set. They ultimately blew that lead, lost the fourth set 28-26, and so we have a very tired volleyball team across the hardwood from us here in the Clark Athletic Center tonight. Let's line up the side-by-side stats here. As you can see, Maine Maritime, they are 6-0 for a reason. Phenomenal on offense and defense. Just under 12 kills per set, 24% hitting percentage, and over 11 assists per set for the Mariners. But you look at the Beacons right now, those numbers low on the offensive end. They were much lower before 2 games ago. Beacons have been rolling these last 2 games. 8.5 kills per set, that's up from around the 7 number it was before the start of the NEC contest. Back up to 10% on the hitting percentage for this season, and the Beaks upping their assist numbers as well, 7.8 assists per set. I don't think anybody except for Maine Maritime serves as well as the Beacons do. You see both of those teams with phenomenal numbers, over 3 aces per set on each side. Our matchup to watch this afternoon features a true freshman for the Beacons in the form of Lauren Westland. She's out of Phoenix, Arizona. This is just her 7th collegiate game coming up. She had a coming out party last night against NEC. 9 kills. That was a career high. 4 kills and 2 service aces in the game earlier today against Keuka College. That number 9 on Maine Maritime, Rachel Mellenpe, you will be hearing me say her name often. Almost every play. She didn't take a play off in the game against NEC that Maine Maritime just competed in. As you can see, 63 kills on the season. That is 17 more than the next closest Beacon on the list, and hitting an astronomical 36% from the field. And if that wasn't enough, she goes down low. She's not just a net player. 37 digs and 7 service aces to boot. Rachel Mellenpe, she's a senior right down the road here from Duxbury, Massachusetts, and the Beacons are going to have their hands full with her this afternoon. We mentioned that the Beacons took home a victory. It was a clean sweep. Have just enough time here to show it for you, so let's run the video highlights in the Beacons' 3-set victory over Keuka College from earlier today. awesome win earlier this afternoon for the Beacons. Can they make it 3 in a row? We have your starting lineups in front of you right now, and it's almost the same starting lineup that we saw in Game 1 for the Beacons earlier today. Michaela Cleary back up front. She's a freshman middle blocker from Taunton, Massachusetts. Colby Atlas having herself quite a freshman season. She had 5 kills and 2 blocks in the game earlier today. She is a 5'8" freshman from Lafayette, California. Allie Dean at libero, a 3-year contributor on this team. She stands 5'4", a junior out of Portland, Oregon. Lauren Westland, we talk about her. She is having one heck of a freshman campaign. She gets the start at outside hitter. Taryn Brogel, a phenomenal contest, and we'll get into how well she played at NEC earlier. Dylan Wurzberger getting the start for the Beaks. She's an outside hitter, sophomore out of Richardson, Texas. And then Amelia Devlin, 16 assists in that game against NEC to round out the starting 7 for the Beaks. Honey Zuber-Stevens, right side hitter. Sydney Rich is the libero. Rachel Malampi, we talked about what a talented outside hitter she is. Chloe Weeks, a big middle blocker. Katie Alberton, the other outside hitter, will do some setting as well. Isla Smith, she's a powerful freshman middle hitter. And Riley Sullivan, an outside hitting sophomore from Wilmington, Delaware. And that'll be the starting 7 for the Mariners. So we come back in here to the floor of Clark Athletic Center. The Beacons wearing their alternate black uniforms. It was a great look. They dusted them off for the game against Cayuga, still in their all blacks. Allie Dean, the libero, wearing white. And it looks like Maine Maritime, Sydney Rich, their libero. I'm not sure if she's going to start the contest on the floor or not, but Maine Maritime in a very crisp blue tops with yellow trim, white numerals, and black shorts. So the Beacons are going to be hitting left to right to start off this first set. Really impressive looking at how the Beacons just upped their team numbers over these past 2 games. They were under 7 kills per set coming into action, already up to 8.5 kills per set. And they have a game opponent across from them in the form of the Maine Maritime Mariners. As we mentioned, 6-0 on this season. Closest they got to a loss was the game they just finished playing a half hour ago. So let's see if there's any fatigue. That's number 22, Riley Sullivan, putting her right hand through it. We're underway. Brogel skies up, and she will start this contest with an emphatic kill right at the net, picking up right where she left off. It was 11 kills for Taryn Brogel earlier today against the Wolves of Cayuga College, and she added 5 service aces to boot. Here's a player who knows something about service aces. Tony Guerra gets this one underway. There's Rachel Malampi, and you gotta keep your eyes peeled for her. She can sky up, slam it with the best of them, and that's a big kill for number 9 out of Duxbury, Mass. to knock this game back up at 1 apiece. Malampi, 63 kills on the season. The next closest player is middle blocker Isla Smith. She was on the court for the very first play of this contest. You'll see more out of her. She has 34 kills, second on the team. There's a kill for Lauren Westland. We mentioned before this match started, she was a player to watch, and the true freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, continuing to impress. They drew up that play for her. And a nice emphatic slam through it to get the point. Since Taryn Brogel, we talked about the impressive night she had at the service line. Back to it, and she'll get a service ace to get her afternoon started. 5 service aces for Brogel, in the game earlier today. 1 for 1 in terms of service aces now. See if she can do it again here. Beacons up 3-1 early in this first set. That one handled cleanly by Sullivan. They pass over to Chloe Weeks. It's dug out on the play by Devlin. Brogel bumps it over to Colby Atlas. She'll go with the pass across the net. It's set to Malampi. Oh, the light touch by Rachel Malampi, and that was clinical. Right around the attack line, that ball dropped in, and once again, a little over-eager from the Beacons at the net on that one. You had a couple of freshmen, and actually 3 freshmen, Cleary, Devlin, and Atlas manning the net on that one. Jumped a bit too soon. That set trending long, and it just goes long. The serve from Katie Alberton. That was close. Tony Guerra playing with fire on that one, deciding not to play it, lets it go long. It's a service error against the Mariners. And here come the Beaks up 4-2 with Melina Sullivan, one of their more veterans servers. Probably she saw a lot of service action last year. Back at the service line again today. The junior from Richmond, Virginia, put a good charge into that one here. It's going to set up the Beacons with a kill opportunity. It's going to be Westland going for it. Dug out nicely by Sydney Rich. Michaela Cleary probably could have let that one go to the back line, but instead puts it in play. Malampi right to Tony Guerra. Sullivan, backside set to Trindade. That one goes hard off the hands of Riley Sullivan. but it will get over. Guerra bumps it backwards towards Sullivan again. She'll go right to Michaela Cleary, who pushes the point through. Michaela Cleary was used really primarily as a defensive first middle blocker in the first 3 games of action on the season. Has really come alive today. 4 kills against Keuka College, and 1 right here, and stretches the Beacons lead out to 5-2. Sullivan, beautiful serve. Took a little bit off it, and it just fell in front of Riley Sullivan. So this is Sullivan on Sullivan action here. Melina Sullivan went right to Riley Sullivan and just took a little bit off it. It fell right at the attack line for the 3rd service ace. Beaks with 6 points now off 3 service aces. Rachel Mellenby blocked at the net, but it's going to be blocked out. And once again, number 9 just enforcing her will in the opening minutes of this contest. Mellenby now back at the service line for the Mariners. She is coming off a 19-kill game in that contest that we just saw between MMA and NEC. The return goes long there, hit out by Lauren Westland. And so Mellenby walks back to the service line on a 2-point streak. Gets the instructions from her head coach, Trisha Carver, sends it. That one just tucks inside the line, so Devlin plays it. They go cross-court to Trindade, handled by Alberton. That one slapped over by Avia Hathorn. Allie Dean with a bump set to Livia Trindade. Oh my goodness, that developed beautifully. Allie Dean definitely knows what she's doing. Defense first right there. Usually you see Devlin handling the set points, and so Dean with a very well-executed bump pass backwards, and Livia Trindade skies up that 6'1" frame. You can't miss it on the volleyball court, and she couldn't miss that point. Quick timeout on the floor. So while that is going on, let's take a sneak peek at the Beaks. There was a lot of action happening just around Beaconville athletically today, and volleyball, not the only sport on campus and around the greater Boston area. We started this day at 10 a.m. Women's soccer hosting Caltech. That game played to a 0-0 draw. Same time that was going on, women's tennis was traveled to WestCon, and they won resoundingly 9-0. You just watched earlier today the women's volleyball team handle Keuka College 3-0. And men's soccer, they just kicked off their contest over in Cambridge against MIT. The Mariners have concluded their huddle. Beacons come out from their huddle, holding a 7-4 lead right now. I'm sure Maine Maritime saw the way the Beacons' first 4 games of this season took place and figured, hey, like, we're rolling right now. We're a 5-0 team. We've just won resoundingly. I don't know if you're never going to take an opponent lightly, but you'd have to think that Maine Maritime coming into this contest might have figured they would have had a head-to-head advantage. And they're trailing to your Beacons right now. That timeout called by Trisha Carver. A little pep in their step. They get the first point out of that timeout, and we will get our second look at Isla Smith. She's a true freshman from Lexington, Kentucky. Second on this team in both kills and blocks. A very powerful hitter. Stands just 5'8", but can really elevate. She's the middle blocker right now for Maine Maritime. Dean handles that serve. They go across to Wurzburger, and that's blocked at the net. And I just mentioned her. There's Isla Smith, and she even makes a little gesture with her hand saying, you got to stop that. You got to get that out of here. Wurzburger, good attempt. That one came off her hand clean, but Isla Smith met her at the summit. And that's 2 straight points for Maine Maritime. That ball takes a funny carob off the net. Played nicely by Dean over to Wurzburger. She gets it across. They run the set to Isla Smith, and look at that slam. It was a beautiful play started by Rachel Mellenby. We mentioned she just does everything well. She initiated that one. It ultimately gets over to Isla Smith, and we're knotted back up at 7 apiece. This is Grace Jennings on the service line. Trindade, gets set up nicely. Good recovery there by Riley Sullivan, and now she'll get a kill look. Hits it right to Dylan Wurzburger, to Melina Sullivan, back to Michaela Cleary with the push shot, and she just misses it wide to the right. Good thinking there for Cleary. That was really the only point-scoring opportunity she had on the play, and just couldn't quite keep it inside the right sideline. So this is now a 4 consecutive point streak at the service line for Grace Jennings, native of Upper Kingsclear, Ontario, Canada. Trindade goes with a push kill. It's cleaned up nicely there by Avia Hathorn. And wow about that, Riley Sullivan at the net. Very well-placed push shot. Just tucking it inside the right antenna and finding some space on court. And this is now 5 straight points won by Maine Maritime after calling that timeout. It was a very well-timed timeout from Coach Carver. That one mis-executed on the bump shot by Lauren Westland. It sails a little bit, and that's Riley Sullivan again for the second play in a row, just taking care of business. Easy two-hand finish on the kill. And the Beacons, not hemorrhaging by any means, but they were just up 7-4, and this is 6 straight points rather easily won by the Mariners. Jennings goes back to Westland, handles that one nicely. Sullivan goes right back to Lauren Westland. She goes cross-court with the bump. Wurzburger and Cleary are there, and this is going to be a very difficult recovery for the Mariners. They won't get to it. A sophomore and a freshman teaming up to make that one happen. Wurzburger and Cleary at the net get the kill. The serve back to the Beacons. And Smith and Sydney Rich back on the floor for the Mariners. Here's Allie Dean. No run-up. Jump and a medium speed serve there. They go to Smith, handled nicely by Wurzburger. Sullivan back to Dylan Wurzburger. Kept that one in. Malampy, a nice job on the back line, sending it over to Riley Sullivan. It's tipped to the net. Westland to Brogel right in front. Too easy as Westland goes to Sullivan, who sets up Taryn Brogel, her second kill of the match. Remember, she had 11 in the earlier game against Cayuga College. And Allie Dean, known to go on runs at the service line. Let's see if the Beacons can get something going behind her, having won the past 2 points. Katie Alberton over to Avia Hathorne, who plays that one across. It's a backside set to Trine Dade. That one just dug out of trouble by Malampy, and now Alberton going to bump it over. The Beacons with a good opportunity here. Westland to Sullivan to Brogel, and she tucks it inside the left sideline. And Taryn Brogel, it's her team, you know, really the only returning, or pardon me, one of 3 returning senior contributors. Can't forget about Brianna Henderson, but it's really her team up front there in front of the net. A lot of the offense is going to go through her, and now a big block at the net, but she's taking advantage of those opportunities up front. Westland down to Anita, block it, passes it back to Wurzburger. That's blocked at the net. Oh, Allie Dean, a nice play, and it gets over. So this point will continue now. Third hit for Sullivan. She can't clear it, and that is all Allie Dean with the quick reflexes, going down to the court, getting the dig. Somehow that ball had to angle to get over the net, and look at this. 3 points in a row. Dean back to the service line. Beaks back up front, 11-10. Wow, a ripped serve right there. That's going to trend long. Quick reflexes by Alberton. Isla Smith with the slam. Lauren Westland by herself back there, kind of on an island, if you will, on the defensive side of the court. And, you know, I don't think anybody will willingly sign up to just be solo on a return of an Isla Smith spike. That's the second kill of the afternoon for the freshman out of Lexington, Kentucky. This serve, that might have gone long. Wurzburger plays it straight up, and now she'll get it back on the spike attempt and convert. Kill for Dylan Wurzburger there, as it was just in front of Sydney Rich enough. And the Beacons in this nip and tuck first set back up 12-1. Amelia Devlin back onto the floor, and she'll head back to the service line. Just an ultra-talented true freshman out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. 16 assists in the game earlier today against Cayuga College. This one bumped left side to Riley Sullivan. Dean right there to dig it out of trouble. Backside pass. Oh, Colby Atlas floating in. I thought she had something there. It's cleaned up nicely by Alberton. Sullivan, Wurzburger, and Devlin collide, but they're okay. Atlas goes with a long kill attempt. Handled nicely by Rich. Sullivan over to Westland. The set is back to Brogel. Cox back. It's blocked at the net by Riley Sullivan. Now they go to Isla Smith. Push shot. Dean keeps it alive. Westland gets to it. Can Devlin get it over? Just not enough on it. I thought the angle was there. Great hustle by the Beacons to stay in that point, but we're now knotted back up at 12 apiece. You can say whatever you want about Maine Maritime. You can't say they aren't entertaining. Right when it looked like they had a kind of an easier win earlier today, they let NEC get back into it. And NEC held the lead for most of the fifth set before Maine Maritime ultimately took it 15-13. Right here, they fell behind by 3. They then took a 3-point lead, and now we're right back to the Beacons up 13-12. Tony Guerra onto the court, onto the service line. Native of Rancho Cucamonga, California. She walks into that one. No walk-up for Guerra, just a strike and a service ace to get her trip to the line started right there. It's fun to see with Tony. She's not that tall, slight of frame, no run into her serve, but easily has the heaviest serve on the UMass Boston team. Right there, just smacks into it. Honey Zuber-Stevens does a good job keeping that one alive, and Malampy for the second time this afternoon on that left side right at the net. A big spike kill. Chloe Weeks had some really good numbers in that NEC game that Maine Maritime just finished playing. She now is at the front of the net at middle blocker. Not the biggest contributing player in terms of offensive stats on the Mariners, but she had a great game against NEC. Double-digit kills for her with 12. There's a service error at the line from Sullivan. That's her second service error in this first set. Brogel on the serve. It's long, but it's played by Rich. Blocked at the net, and how about Colby Atlas? She had 2 blocks in the contest versus Keokuk College. She's just 5'8", and when she stands next to 6-foot-tall Michaela Cleary, you can tell, but she was right there for the block, and the Beacons now up 3. Brogel takes something off that serve. Sullivan has to dive for it. Alberton goes across to Malampy. She hits it long. And that is not what the Mariners wanted to see on that. Really, it seems like Sullivan, number 22, is the player that the Beacons are attacking on this service line. Brogel goes back to her, and that one just misses wide. Just misses wide. The left side judge, he called that one out. The referee on the backside of the court, it looked like she was about to signal it in. He has the view down the sideline there. That's her backline view. And so that one was out. And I believe that there was a, yes, so a line infraction there for the Beacons as Colby Atlas, I think, was on the wrong side of the attack line there. So it's 17-15 now, 2 consecutive points for the Mariners. Westland goes up for the spike. It's blocked at the net, and then played by Cleary after it's a 4-hit turn after the block. And so 3 straight points exactly when the Mariners needed. This is a razor-thin margin between both of these teams so far. Katie Alberton almost got the ace there. Diving effort by Tony Guerra keeps the play alive. Westland, flat-footed hit. It goes right to Alberton. Cross-court set to Malampy, and there is absolutely nothing you can do when Rachel Malampy gets a look that good. Listed at 5'10", looks like she might be an inch or 2 taller than that, but it's her verticality that makes her so impressive. She skies up so effortlessly. Got way up there to slam that one home. Alberton, that one's right at Tony Guerra. To Westland, to Devlin. Heads up play there by Cleary to keep that one alive. They go left side again, right to Rachel Malampy. She takes something off of it. Devlin keeps it alive. Guerra's not going to be able to get there. And now the Mariners retake the lead. I think this might be time for the Beacons to take a timeout, and that's exactly what we will see. Timeout called by head coach Calliope Dalavoris, and we'll take a quick break here inside the Clark Athletic Center. Probably the conclusion of an exciting first set coming up when we return. Beacons 17, Mariners 18.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown, and it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. It's one of those moments you never forget.
Back from the timeout here, and it's still Katie Alberton at the service line. She has won 4 straight service points for the Mariners. That's a deep serve. It pushes Guerra back. Beacons on the attack there. Colby Atlas almost with a kill diving attempt by Sydney Rich to keep that one alive. Devlin sets it straight up to Dean. She goes backside to Lauren Westland. Westland blocked at the net, keeps it going, and Cleary can't get to it in time. I don't know. Allie Dean was in the vicinity. I don't know if she would have had as easy of a hit on it, but I don't think that left-handed swing from Westland did that possession any favors. Katie Alberton now serving after 5 straight service point wins. Beacons really got to put a stop to this streak here to win this set. Westland with a push shot. Dug out of trouble by Alberton. That one coasting, and it hits the satellite. It almost dropped into play from Avia Hathorn, but instead she just pushes it wide to the right. The Beacons are back to within 1 on the front foot of the service game, and it's Melina Sullivan, the junior out of Richmond, Virginia, seeing her role increase on this Beacons team in this 2022 season. She'll bounce it, give it a couple of spins, now makes her run. Sinking serve. Oh, and a wise decision there by Avia Hathorn to let that one go. It looked like she was going to play it all the way. At the last second, pulls the hands away. That one goes long. Third service error of this first set for the Beaks. Malampy wasting no time, goes right to Westland, to Sullivan, to Cleary. She'll push it right at Malampy, and now Maine Maritime can set up a big swing here. It's Riley Sullivan, and she finds the back line. Well-placed swing there from Riley Sullivan. It's had a rather up and down first set here, but has come alive offensively over these last 10 points. And now the Mariners 4 points away from stealing this first set. Melina Sullivan, left side set to Trindade, and that's too powerful. Nothing you can do with that. Sydney Rich, she was kind of there. She got her hands on it, but that ball looks to be cascading against the south wall of the Clark Athletic Center right now, and there's a player that looks like Callie Reese ran all the way over to field, or pardon me, Lakin Buchanan had to go to the exit of the gymnasium to get that ball. That's how powerful Levia is. That one probably shouldn't have gotten played by Chloe Weeks, so now it's going to be a bump right over. Cleary to Sullivan. They go back to Trindade, the push shot, beautifully executed by Levia. She saw that space on the floor opening up. Doesn't go with the big swing. Pushes it right past the blockers up front. Beacons back to within one. Lauren Westland, quick serve. It's played by Malampy, and it's played out of bounds by Malampy. Service ace for Lauren Westland. She's keeping it rolling right now. Didn't figure service aces would be a big part of Westland's game, but she got two in the contest against Keuka, and a service error right there. The Mariners back up 22-21. You'd never believe that one of these teams was 6-0 and that the other was 2-4 after watching the first, 10 minutes of action here this afternoon. But we got a good one for you here inside the Clark Athletic Center. This is Grace Jennings back at the service line now for her second time this afternoon. Westland digs that one out of trouble. How about that effort from the Beacons? That was a three-hit turn. I don't know if it was, actually. I think they might have gotten away with that one there, but Cleary gets the block at the net. Cleary gets the block of the net. You can see all of the Mariners looking back at both the referees and the coaching staff. They swore that that was a four-hit turn. I guess what they're ruling is that it was not a return hit off the block, but instead, three shots. It was hit low by two different Beaks. I know Allie Dean and Melina Sullivan were both in the area. Ultimately clears the net. Beacons win the point, and now in a tied game, they are on service. Smith over the net. Oh, it's tipped and somehow stays in. Isla Smith, limited minutes technically. She's not out there more than half the time, but every time she is on the floor, the impact she makes undeniable. Honey Zuber Stevens, starting right side hitter, coasts into that one. It's a long swinging serve. We go across court to Dylan Werksberger. Beautiful touch shot. Cleary there, can't clean it up. So it goes back to Sullivan. Werksberger with the pass over to Melina Sullivan. To Livia Trindade, dug out by Sydney Rich. Alberton pushes it over. Great recovery by Werksberger. Dean cross court. Trindade, Rich again. Sydney Rich standing on her head at the libero position, but that ball mishit by Katie Alberton, and so all that effort from Sydney Rich for naught. As the Beacons win the point, they take the service line with this first set tied 23-23. Amelia Devlin back to serve for the Beaks. She did have one service ace in that opening contest, a 16-assist game for her. Low sinking serve, and there's a first service ace today, the first in this game, her second on the day, and now Amelia Devlin, number 22, serving for the set. Beacons up 24-23. What a fun game we have here at the Clark Athletic Center. That one played by Rich. Alberton takes a hard hit to get that one over. Mel MP, it's cleared out by Westland. Devlin to Brogel, and that'll do it. What a first set. Amelia Devlin directing traffic. Taryn Brogel, 4 kills to go along with 2 service aces. And the Beacons, this is a team growing up right before your eyes, folks. They come back down 17-14, and they win the first set 25-23. We'll take a quick commercial break and be back with more after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Back here, about ready to get this second set started. The Beaks, an impressive 25-23 win in the first set. A set led by Taryn Brogles, 5 kills and 2 service aces. September 10th, 2022 is going to be a volleyball day to remember for Taryn Brogel with the stats she's putting up between the earlier game and the first set of this contest today. Devlin back on the service line. That's where she ended the first set with the Beacons win. Goes with a low sinking serve. It's dug out by Sullivan, punched by Smith. Devlin backslide to Atlas. Wow, what a block. That was both Malampy and Isla Smith right at the net. Colby Atlas got everything into that one, and it was handled cleanly and perfectly by Malampy. Sydney Rich, her second trip to the service line this afternoon for the Mariners. Puts a hand into it and hits it short. Service error. And Beaks will even this one up at 1 apiece. Just our second look at Michaela Garrity on the service line today. The senior out of Elgin, Illinois. Sent that one back a bit. Malampy got a sky up for the serve and just not cleanly handled by Colby Atlas. Where she needed to be, just couldn't get her hands on it cleanly. And what else can you expect? I mean, Rachel Malampy, she's on the business end of that serve, or that spike. Sometimes those are hard to handle. Allie Dean gets that hit with that ball in the chest, but it's actually going to set up a great scoring opportunity here for the Beaks. Sullivan rips it over. It's played beautifully by Devlin. To Atlas, the push shot dug out by Alberton. Rich goes over to Malampy, places that one. It's handled by Dean. Devlin back to Westland. Westland, well-placed shot, and that's going to be a 4-hit turn there. Atlas was there to hit the recovery, but unfortunately, that's the 4th hit. Back and forth affair here at the Clark Athletic Center. I would have mentioned it before. If you didn't know what these two teams' records are, you would have never guessed. Wow, beautiful serve there by Alberton, as there was just a lot of room on both sides of the attack line. They went with the heavy right-sided court presence, and Westland couldn't quite get to it in time. This time, Allie Dean handles that serve cleanly. It goes to Brogel right in front. That ball was out in front of her, but she gets the angled spike down. Second point of the second set for the Beaks. They're back on the service line, trailing 4-2. Brogel, couple of aces in that first set. Now an error here to get her service game started in the second set, and that gives Maine Maritime a 5-2 lead. We mentioned that the Beacons were able to come back down 3 in the first set, but this is not a team that you want to be playing a come-from-behind game against. There's a lot of firepower there in blue and yellow. Great shot, placed beautifully. That's Michaela Cleary taking care of business. Number 1 in front of the net right there. Just places that one inside the left sideline, and the Beaks really needed that point. They get it, and they're back to within 2. It's 5-3. So Sullivan back in on the service line here for the Beaks. She's angled far to the right side of the court. Alberton set, and that is hit long. Powerful. I'll be honest with you. We saw that whole play, and there we go. Infraction on the Beacons, and so it will be a point for Maine Maritime. That feels like that's going to be a big moment here because the Beaks did everything they needed to win that point and get back to within 1. Now they're trailing by 3 with Maine Maritime on the serve. Sullivan, pass to Trindade. She pushes it across, handled by Grace Jennings. They go back across the court. Hathorn's shot handled cleanly by Melina Sullivan. Lauren Westland, the place shot once again right at Grace Jennings. We'll do it all over again. Sullivan this time blocked at the net, but blocked onto the wrong side of the net. So Trindade was there where she needed to be. Couldn't handle business. Katie Rennie up front there with her as well. And now Grace Jennings, she went on a pretty big service streak in that first set. Chance to do it here in set number 2. That one trending long. Actually, it was trending left more than it was trending long, and I thought if it missed, it would have missed to the left. It didn't miss at all. That's a service ace for Grace Jennings, and really adding to the game here for the service line for the Mariners. Oh, that's a really heads-up play by Katie Rennie to keep that point alive after it took a funky hop at the net. Westland right there to bump it across. Alberton to Malampy to Sullivan. Dean going to give chase. Nothing Michaela Garrity could have done on that swing. It's a kill for Riley Sullivan. And Coach Dalavoris and the Beacons coaching staff going to talk it over with the team here as they have given up 7 straight points. They trail the Maine Maritime Mariners 9-3. Got an upcoming schedule in front of you here for the lady volleyball team. About 4 games to tell you about.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
All right, back here right before we get back into the action, we got to look at the upcoming schedule. Game on Wednesday against Brandeis here at 7:30. EastCon a week from today, and then 2 games on the road at Johnson and Wales, and then at Plymouth State. Both of those games start at 7 o'clock. Big diving attempt there to keep the play alive by Malampy, and now it's a swing by Riley Sullivan, dug out by Michaela Garrity. Westland flat-footed hit. Rennie, that would have been a 4th touch, and it is now 8 straight points for the Maine Maritime Mariners. They take a 10-3 lead, have a bit of a football score in front of us here at the Clark Athletic Center, and once again, it's Grace Jennings on a long service point streak. Allie Dean, and that one's just out as Melina Sullivan set up the play. Oh, it was tipped at the net. All right, there we go. So it's going to be a point for the Beacons. I saw it missed wide. But that's big. It finally puts an end to that Grace Jennings service streak. You'll take a stop to that whenever you can get it. Devlin puts that one right to Malampy. Alberton sets it backward to Smith. Nothing anyone could do on that. It's like Katie Rennie and Lauren Westland had to try and handle that one. And Isla Smith, one of the most powerful spikers at this level of collegiate volleyball, with her third kill of the contest. Honey Zuber Stevens, team starting right side hitter, at the service line for her second time today, and she gets an ace. That one went right at Michaela Garrity, and Garrity just kind of got eaten up by that one. Maine Maritime, we mentioned, you don't want to let them come back. You definitely don't want to let them get a lead stretched out because they have so much firepower. Now, we did just see them blow a 14-2 lead in the last contest against NEC. That's a team that these Beacons beat, so that stands to bode well for the Beaks, but instead we see another missed net point, and that's where it's really falling apart for the Beacons here in the second set. They were converting at the net in set number one. That one, Trindade and Sullivan were there to handle it. They didn't handle it cleanly. Funny hop off the net. Garrity recovers nicely. Backside pass to Levia, and she slams it home. Big kill that the Beacons need right there from the right hand of who you expect, Levia Trindade. The Beacons with that clean sweep win earlier today against Cayuga College, and Levia didn't even have 5 kills, at a 4-kill performance. Already 3 early into the second set in this contest. Sullivan, the leaping hit, dug out by Tony Guerra. Melina Sullivan across to Michaela Garrity, and it's blocked out by Isla Smith. They took on the best middle blocker on the Mariners team. She was there. She couldn't keep her block in, and so the Beacons 2 points in a row. Allie Dean gives that volleyball a hard slam. She's probably upset at, the run that Maine Maritime went on. I think Rich was going to choose to let that one go long. It's played by Zuber Stevens and mishit at the net by Trindade, and so it's going to be a point right back to Maine Maritime. Wow, running serve, I'm not quite sure what the miscommunication was there. That ball was going to be in all the way, and it just falls right in between Allie Dean and Tony Guerra. Second timeout of the set called by the Beacons. They do not have any more. We'll take a timeout right here ourselves. We'll be right back after this. Beacons trailing 15-6 in the second set.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies.
Beacons trailing 15-6 here in the second set. They are up 1-0. They snuck out of that first set with a 25-23 set win. Rachel Malampy, one of our players to watch, joining forces with Isla Smith. 13 kills between the two of them, and another service ace as Tony Guerra not ready for that Riley Sullivan serve. Everything going the way of the Mariners here in this second set. It's their 4th service ace of this set as well. Dean gets it across. Alberton sets up Malampy, and that is her 8th kill of the afternoon. They might only have those two players as true net presences up front, but they're both, Smith and Malampy, making their voices heard and making their names known. Service error there from Sullivan. It leaves the door cracked for the Beacons. They still trail in this second set, 17-7. But as we've seen in the game earlier between MMA and NEC, anything is possible against these Mariners. They can go on slow runs of play, and these Beacons have been able to claw themselves back. That one was trending long. Sullivan decided to return it late. Malampy climbs the ladder. Couldn't have placed it better. Devlin and Guerra hit the deck trying to just keep that one alive, and the look Tony Guerra gave the referee, it kind of makes me think that she hit it before it hit the ground, but no, that one's ruled a point. And now Sydney Rich at the service line for Maine Maritime, leading comfortably in this second set, 18-7. Garrity, textbook return. It goes across court to Colby Atlas. She'll try and place that one in. It's kept alive by Honey Zuber-Stevens. And wow, that's Katie Alberton, normally back on the back line doing her damage setting. She'll get the kill on that one with a little push point over the net. You never want to phone it in, but in the name of conserving energy, you might think that UMass Boston is not conceding this set, but accepting the reality of it and just going to save some effort until we get to set number 3. Garrity, little jump hit. That one troubled Rich a little bit. Blocked the net. Brogel, a big block. It's played back by Alberton. Malampy places it. Dug out nicely by Tony Guerra. Devlin, cross-court set to Garrity, and that'll be a big kill for Michaela Garrity. Another assist for Amelia Devlin. It's been quite a sight to see watching this freshman come into her own and how she does such a good job setting up the offense and directing traffic. But with the exception of some service errors, I want to think every point scored by UMass Boston has been helped out by an Amelia Devlin assist. That one over her head, Garrity gonna have to bump it across, gets it over on a line. 2 different Mariners taking a knee to field that one. How about Lauren Westland keeps that one alive? It's hit back by Colby Atlas. Westland's gonna bump it over and this point continues. Alberton to Weeks, and Chloe Weeks finishes at the net. I mentioned that's going to be only her second kill of this afternoon. She's coming off an 11-kill performance in Maine Maritime's first game that we just saw completed against NEC. Just 12 kills in her first 5 games. She got 11 in the 6th game. She's already doubled her season total in these past 2 games. That one goes wide. Beacons get a point back to within 11. It's 9-20. And Taryn Brogel's seen a lot of success at the service line up to this point. That one was almost an ace there, and that's a 4-hit turn, so give it to her. Taryn Brogel, 4-hit turn. Service ace number 3 of this contest, and remember, she already had 5 earlier today. Rich gets under that Brogel serve calmly, and Malampy just finishing business, sealing the deal. That was Katie Rennie and Lauren Westland tasked with answering that spike, and couldn't do it. So Maine Maritime continuing to cruise here in the second set. They lead by 11. Malampy calmly steps into that one. Garrity digs it out. It trends right a little bit. Devlin goes with the bump pass. It goes back to Westland. They get it over. Setting up Chloe Weeks again. And I think the Mariners are finding something here in Chloe Weeks. She's a sophomore out of Farmington, New Hampshire. Pardon me, I take back what I said about the 2 true net presences because she's having a phenomenal game. Wow, that ball looked like it was definitely going long, and at the last second, it just hit a little knuckle, and it'll be a service ace for Rachel Malampy. Maine Maritime just 2 points away from taking this set and doing it convincingly. Westland plays that one up to Devlin. They go back to Westland, and she mishits it. Avia Hathorn was at the net, ready for the block. Wasn't tested on that one. That was hit right into the net. It's a hitting error. And here comes Rachel Malampy with a chance to close this set out. Garrity to Devlin. Right to Katie Reddy in front. Sydney Rich, big play to keep that one alive. It's going to be over the net and an in kill for Colby Atlas, keeping this set alive. Mentioned that Colby had a big game earlier today against Keuka. 5 kills to go along with 2 blocks from the true freshman out of Lafayette, California. She gets the emphatic kill there. If nothing else, that one's going to look great on the highlight reel. And the Beacons back on the service line, still on Mariners set point. Now just down 13. It's 11-24. Alberton, all the time in the world. She goes in the direction of Hathorn, and Hathorn ends the set in favor of the Mariners. The Beacons won the first set. They won it by 2. Mariners win set number 2 by 14. We'll take a break, and when we come back, it's set number 3. We're all square, 1 set apiece.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town, UMass Boston. Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity, there's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
We're about ready to start set number 3 here inside the Clark Athletic Center. This match tied at 1 set apiece. Beacons took the first set 25-23. It was a much more resounding 25-11 set victory for the Mariners of Maine Maritime Academy in set number 2. If you look at the side-by-side numbers up to this point in the contest, the Mariners outscoring the Beacons 48-36, out-killing them 28-19. And the big number, they are out-hitting the Beacons 39% to 17%. Also not helping the Beacons, a combined 13 attack errors between service and hitting attacks, whereas Maine Maritime has committed just 7. That serve almost went long. It gets to Brogel. Devlin tees her up on a silver platter, and that's a great way to recover after a disappointing second set for the Beaks. They get the first point, and they get it on a well-executed set play. Amelia Devlin, another assist. She sets up Taryn Brogel. That's her 6th kill of the afternoon. Guerra, sinking serve there. It's going to give the Mariners trouble. Malampy has to punch it over. She can't do it. And the Beacons win the first 2 points of set number 2. You see that heavy serve from Tony Guerra. It sinks fast, and how much of a problem it has been for really anybody across from it. And there's a service ace. So Tony Guerra getting locked in here from the service line as she pushed Honey Zuber Stevens back on that one, tried to recover it straight, or try to return it straight on, and it caroms into the right side stands. Almost another ace there as Rich has to dive to make a play on it. That one floats high, and it takes a funny hop off the top of the net, so Malampy gets the kill. Not her best executed hit of today by a long shot, but that's the first point of the 3rd set for Maine Maritime. Puts them right back into it. Score is now 3-1. Right to Sydney Rich there. It's a brilliant opportunity for Malampy. She's blocked at the net there by Brogel. Atlas and Brogel sky up again, but Garrity bumps it over. Devlin, backside set. Handled beautifully there by Riley Sullivan. Punch shot, kept alive by Garrity. Atlas hits it backwards. Colby Atlas gave it the best effort she possibly could have on that play, but can't make clean contact with it. The ball bounces backwards on her, and it's the 2nd straight point for Maine Maritime. Sydney Rich serving for the Mariners. Guerra digs that one out. Brogel left-handed touch play. It's kept alive by Alberton. Malampy goes right to Devlin. Dean, bump pass, back to Michaela Garrity. Cross-court kill attempt, no. Handled. Malampy gets blocked at the net, but it's blocked out. Taryn Brogel right where she needed to be, but couldn't get clean contact on that kill attempt. And Malampy well into double digits. That is her 13th kill of the afternoon already. Both Sullivan and Smith with 7 kills apiece behind her. Garrett digs that one out cleanly. They set it in front of the net to Garrity. Little left-handed touch play to keep it alive. Well executed. Diving play by Devlin to keep it alive, and Allie Dean just ran out of room there, dealing with the net and the pylon and the referee's perch, and couldn't get a play on it. 4 straight points for Maine Maritime. 3 straight on the Sydney Rich service game. They lead 4-3. Rich, line drive serve, funny hop off the top of the net, but it does get over, so Garrity kills it. The Beacons deserve the karma of winning that point. That ball took a crazy hop on the top of the net. It looked by all indications like it was going to fall on the wrong side for a service error. It got over, but Michaela Garrity, impressive looking kill there. Her 3rd of the afternoon. That one's going to go long, and the Beacons retake the lead here. The hitting error from Riley Sullivan. We mentioned she's been utilized a lot, the outside hitter. She does have 7 kills. That is her 4th error of the afternoon from the floor. Brogel hits it flat. Wow, beautiful service ace. That was basically the equivalent of a baseball changeup right there. Brogel gave it the full run-up, the full toss, and then just kind of flat slapped it. It fell right in front of the attack line for the 2nd service ace of the set for the Beaks. Unfortunately, Brogel follows it with a service error, though. That one in the top left corner of the net. Well, the Beacons looking like a much different volleyball team than we saw in that 2nd set, and that's nice to see. They called those 2 timeouts rather early. Allie Dean goes over to Michaela Garrity. She likes that spot. She goes at Sydney Rich. Alberton gets Malampy on a silver platter. Wow, Tony Guerra was there to return it, and she ate that one right in the chest there as it hits her chest and then bounces onto the scorer's table. You can see how hard that ball was hit. That is the 14th kill of the contest for Rachel Malampy, and I think the Beacons are going to call a timeout there. Tony Guerra, she was trying to play that one tough, but that ball smoked her right in the chest, and it bounced all the way to the scorer's table. I'm not sure if the coaching staff was worried about her or just figured this would be the time to take a timeout, but they do so. Let's take a quick look around the LEC here. A lot of action going on in the volleyball world around the LEC, and with the exception of one game, Eastern Connecticut versus Bay Path, we have final scores in all of the others. Keene State falls to Bowdoin 3-1. UMass Dartmouth victorious over Husson 3-0. East Con, their first of 2 games today, they beat Simmons 3-1. Connecticut College victorious over the West Con Wolves 3-2. Castleton loses to Wellesley 3-0. Southern Maine gets kind of run over by Emerson 3-0. Western New England, they're victorious against Southern Maine in Southern Maine's 2nd game today, so 2 3-0 losses for USM. Keene State lost to Endicott 3-0. Castleton lost to Rivier 3-0. UMass Dartmouth, 2 3-set victories for them. They beat Framingham State 3-0. WestCon lost to the Coast Guard 3-0. So there we go. That's your look around the LEC conference. We're back from this timeout. Katie Alberton at the service line, and she floats one in. Diving play by Guerra to keep it alive. Colby Atlas, booming kill off the, I believe, Devlin assist. Yes, and so Amelia Devlin sets up another play very nicely. And the true freshman, Colby Atlas, climbing the ladder, putting the Beacons back in front in this crucial 3rd set. Melina Sullivan back to the service line. Runs into it. Firm hit, played nicely by Hathorn. They go back to Malampy. She goes for the changeup hit. It's dug out very nicely on the play by Tanu. Garrity swings through it. It's kept alive by the Mariners. Dean to Sullivan. She'll hit it over. Alberton back there, backpedaling, keeps it going. Malampy jump hit right to Tony Guerra. Melina Sullivan in the direction of Michaela Cleary. She'll hit it over to Riley Sullivan. Alberton to Malampy. That's her sweet spot on the court, and she gets another kill. For the 15th time this afternoon, Rachel Malampy has recorded a kill. As we mentioned, the next 2 closest players, 7 apiece on the Mariners team. Melina Sullivan has to take a dive to keep that one going. I'm not quite sure what happened there as Alyssa Tanu coming in from the second line of attack a little too late to get over to it. So only chance Garrity had was to give it a one-handed swing. Allie Dean bumps it in the direction of Garrity. Wow, that one dug out very nicely by Alberton with one hand. Hathorn hits it long. Wasn't anything Garrett could do with that one. I think, because I expected it to, I believe Tony probably expected to see that one sink a little bit more. Instead, it just stayed rising. The only play Tony could do was a little two-handed push forward. That serve right at Allie Dean. Melina Sullivan back to Alyssa Tanu. She goes for the kill. It's handled easily by Rachel Mellenby. Guerra handles the Sullivan serve well. They go over to Garrity. She tries to tip it for her, but Alberton sets it straight up to Rich. They go back to Hathorn. Tipped at the net, and it falls in. That was Garrity and Cleary tasked with stopping that Hathorn kill. That's her fourth of the afternoon. And now Rachel Mellenby with a 3-point lead could really get this game moving for Maine Maritime Academy. That one long off the right hand of Michaela Garrity. She walks back to the service line. And Maine Maritime, 5 straight points, 4 straight off this service game from Rachel Mellenby. Oh, smart play there by Sullivan. Almost gets the point, but instead it sets up, I believe that's Chloe Weeks. She'll try it again. Now goes with the pooch shot. Cleary sets it backwards. Sullivan over to Dean. Allie, flat-footed hit, almost gets the kill. Alberton keeps it alive. This point's still alive. Riley Sullivan to Melina Sullivan to Cleary, and that's a... Oh, it was blocked. I thought that was going to be a 4-hit turn. So Garrity gets it over. We're still alive here. Sydney Rich. Hathorn's hit is blocked by the Beaks. And nothing Melina Sullivan can do as that one ultimately does get over to Riley Sullivan, and she converts from the outside hitter spot. It is the 6th straight point. This is eerily reminiscent to the run the Mariners went on in the second set with Grace Jennings at the service line. Tanu, flat hit right at Riley Sullivan. Alberton to Weeks, handled nicely by Melina Sullivan. They go to Alyssa Tanu, and she gets the kill. Alyssa Tanu, the freshman out of Irvine, California, listed as a setter, being used as an outside hitter on this run of play for the Beaks. She gets the kill, her second of her collegiate career, her second in her Beacons career. Beacons get a point back that they desperately needed. They trail by just 4. That serve from Garrity really pushed Rich back, and there's nothing the Mariners could generate on that little turn right there. It ends in a hitting error from Riley Sullivan, and Michaela Garrity excitedly hurries back to that service line. She wants to keep a good thing going for the Beaks here, who trail 9-12. That one's going to be in. Service ace for Michaela Garrity. It was a perfectly placed serve with a decent amount of sink on it, and you could see Rachel Mellenby, her wheels were spinning quite a bit there, trying to figure out what to do with it. She lets it go. It's a service ace for Michaela Garrity, her first ace of the afternoon. She had 6 in that first game against Cayuga College. Hey, 2 in a row right there, and I said... The way this Beacons team keeps themselves into contest is going on runs at the service line. It's the easiest way to score points in college volleyball. And Michaela Garrity went on a 4 straight ace run against Cayuga College earlier today. She got 2 aces in a row just then. That point goes to the Mariners, but the Beacons back that number. That scoreline looks a lot better. 13-11 looks a lot better than 12-7. So the Beacons trailing by 2. Chloe Weeks comes off to a round of high fives. Grace Jennings takes her place. She's been the most efficient server for the Mariners so far today. Puts her right hand into it. Dean down to one knee to bump it back. Wurtzberger, touch pass, and she's going to get the point on that. It's blocked out of bounds by Avia Hathorn. Taryn Brogel back onto the floor, replacing Michaela Cleary. And Chloe Weeks off for just 1 play. She comes off and gives way to Sydney Rich, pardon me. So Allie Dean at the service line here. Beacons trying to tie it back up. Dean, well-placed serve. Mellenby goes straight up to Alberton. Over to Riley Sullivan. Touch hit right to Allie Dean. Melina Sullivan backwards to Alyssa Tanu, and it is blocked right back at Melina Sullivan. The point on the block goes to Riley Sullivan. And Riley Sullivan has been everywhere here for this Maine Maritime team. That is her second block of the afternoon. She also has 8 kills in her name. Little run-in serve there from Zuber Stevens. Tanu, the touch pass. It's going to be a point. Alyssa Tanu, her second kill of the afternoon. It gets the Beaks back to within 1. UMass Boston 13, Maine Maritime 14. Colby Atlas coming back on along with Amelia Devlin. And how about Alyssa Tanu? A nice round of applause from her team. Quick teaching moment with the coaching staff as she records her second and third kills of her collegiate career in that run of play. Garrity retreats back to keep that one alive. Brogel uses the extension to get a good swing on that one. They go in the direction of Riley Sullivan, blocked at the net, and it's Colby Atlas, her second block of this contest. So fun to see her operate at the net. She has hops like you just wouldn't believe for someone 5'8". She was right where she needed to be to handle that one. We're tied at 14 apiece. Devlin, jump serve. Comes off a little funky there off Sydney Rich, so it's going to be a running hit shot from Mellenby. Devlin under it to Wurtzberger. Dylan made contact with the net on the hit. Can't do that, and so it's a point right back to Maine Maritime. She placed it where she needed to. That's a legal contact, and Maine Maritime in a very tight third set, one that very much so resembles the first set. Back up one, 15-14. Riley Sullivan, that one off the net. Amelia Devlin, a diving effort to keep that one alive. Couldn't do anything with it as Allie Dean got not her best service return, to say the least on that. Riley Sullivan doing it all for Maine Maritime here this evening. She goes at Allie Dean. Allie handles that one a bit better this time. Brogel lined up for the kill, and that took a slight deflection off Isla Smith's fingertips at the net. It's going to be another kill for Taryn Brogel. And that should put her in double digits for the afternoon. Yes, so that is her 10th kill today. Taryn Brogel coming off an 11 kill performance. She already has 10 here in this third set. That one almost dropped in from Tony Guerra, but the Beaks let a chance to tie this game up slip away. Instead, Maine Maritime back up 2. Beacons did trail 17-14 in that first set. They trail 17-15 here. They won that first set 25-23. Brogel levitates, keeps that one alive, tries to touch it over. Oh, Dean, great recovery on that. They go backside pass to Atlas, and she goes on the outside of the satellite, so that one's going to be out of bounds, and another point for Maine Maritime. This third set's still in reach for the Beacons, but they're really going to need to buckle down. Well-timed timeout taken by the coaching staff. They take a break, so we will take a break as well. We'll be right back here inside the Clark Athletic Center. This match is tied at 1 set apiece. Mariners leading set number 3, 18-15.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just the starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like the place that people want to go.
What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
Taryn Brogel has been leading the way offensively for the Beacons. She leads the team with 10 kills so far. Rachel Malampy, the game-high 14 kills already. And her teammate Riley Sullivan right behind her with 8. 4 different Maine Maritime Mariners with a hitting percentage of 45% or higher so far in this contest. That's how they're up right now, 18-15 in this third set. Colby Atlas, cross-court kill attempt. It's handled pretty well there by Zuber Stevens. Oh, and an impressive kill there. Rachel Mellenby, her 15th of the evening. The ball just has a different speed when it is hit off her hands. And Maine Maritime, I think, this is the largest lead any team has had in this third set. They go up 4, 19-15. Sydney Rich has had a very efficient service game here in this third set. Brogel, a kill attempt, and nope, not yet. Nice recovery there by Rich. It gets to Allie Dean. Beacon still set up nicely here. They go backslide and a block. Rachel Mellenby slides down from the second line. She's right there to meet Taryn Brogel. And that's a matchup Brogel's not going to lose too often, regardless of who's on the other side of the net from her. But Malampy with the block. Mariners, their largest lead of this set. They're up 20-15. Guerra handles that one nicely. Devlin goes over to Garrity with a touch shot. Handled well by Honey Zuber-Stevens. Mel-Empy, and that one's on the wrong side of the satellite. It's going to be a point for the Beacons. They need this, and they need every point they can get for the remainder of this set. Brogel enjoying a career day in terms of the earlier game and this game from the service line with the Beacons trailing by 4, steps into it. Nice bump there as Alberton goes with the cross-court set. It's blocked by Atlas. She almost gets the point. It's saved well by Mel-Empy. Devlin to Garrity, and Michaela gets the kill. Another Amelia Devlin assist. Michaela Garrity wasted no time. She had 5 kills in the game earlier today against Keuka College. That's just her 3rd kill of the afternoon, but a timely one at that, and oh, you can't afford that right there. Brogel's serve just doesn't make it over the net. And the Beaks back down 4, now 21-17. Katie Alberton back at the service line for the Mariners. She has 7 aces on the season. That one handled well by Tony Guerra. Garrity going for the kill, and it's just long. Oh no, tipped at the net, pardon me. So that one went long. It was signaled out, but it was tipped at the net by Maine Maritime. So give the Beacons the point. They are back on the serve, and it's Melina Sullivan doing the honors here for the Beaks. Sullivan, Guerra, and Dean currently along the back line. Garrity, Tanu, and Cleary at the net for the Beaks. Sullivan goes with a short serve. It finds Rachel Mel-Empy, and she hits it into the net. You don't see too many hitting errors out of number 9, all that often. Now, she gets plenty of opportunities, but that a rare hitting error, and a timely one at that. Beacons back to within 2 here. Let's see where Sullivan goes. She goes back left, right at Sydney Rich. Alberton across to Hathorn. She gives it a weird backhanded hit. It sets up Sullivan. Over to Garrity. Just long. That's the 2nd time that Garrity has missed just long. Beacons got the benefit of a tipped ball the first time. Won't have that happen here. And now it's Rachel Mel-Empy, the everything outside hitter at the service line. Her serve handled nicely by Garrity, and Michaela Cleary going to get herself a kill right at the net. As I believe that was Melina Sullivan with the assist on that play. Dylan Werksberger makes her way back in. Werksberger, Tanu, Cleary. 3 freshmen at the net right now for the Beaks as they try to get into this 3rd set. They trail by just 2 now. Alberton to Weeks. She backhands it straight to Garrity. They go back to Alyssa Tanu. That one's tipped at the net. Rich bumps it backwards. Hathorn, big hit. That'll go long, and the Beacons are back to within 1. For a team that has 4 freshmen on the floor right now, the Beacons staying calm, handling the adversity, back to within 1 point. Michaela Garrity spins it up to herself. Serve trends to the right. And we've seen a decent bit of that today here, where at the exact point where the Beacons can't really afford a service error, it's right when they get it. And 2 times now, the Beacons were 1 point away from tying the game back up, and on both of those points, they've been on the serve, and they've suffered service errors. So now Maine Maritime just 2 points away from this 3rd set here. Sullivan over to Tanu, nicely placed. It's dug out by Grace Jennings. Long hit, and I think Allie Dean might have been able to let that one go. Instead, she tries to make a tough play on it. It comes off her right fist funky, and it is now set point for Grace Jennings and the Maine Maritime Mariners. Beacons won the 1st set 25-23. Maine Maritime convincingly took the 2nd set 25-11. Jennings goes right to Dean. Sullivan to Wertzberger. She'll push it across. It stays in. Alberton to Mel-Empy. Riley Sullivan's going to have to hit it across. Garrity bumps it to Melina Sullivan. They go back to Alyssa Tanu. Handled very well by Mel-Empy. Over to Riley Sullivan. The touch shot. It's tipped by Cleary. That stayed alive there by Tanu. Nice play. Slammed home by Isla Smith. That's her 8th kill of the afternoon, and that will put an end to set number 3. The Beacons' valiant effort there. They came back from down 6 to get to within 1, but they cede the 3rd set to Maine Maritime, 21-25. We'll take a break and be back with the 4th set after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network.
Amalfi fires and beans him.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Back here inside the Clark Athletic Center, we're about to get started with set number 4. Your Beacons trailing the Maine Maritime Academy Mariners 2-1. They didn't steal that first set, but it was closely contested, tightly contested. The Beacons escaped it with a 25-23 set win. Maine Maritime came back and announced their presence here, winning the second set 25-11. You just saw that third set come to an end. It was one that Maine Maritime won 25-21. Quick updated look at the stats right here. Taryn Brogel, I told you she had 10 kills. She only has 9, but she still leads the Beacon with 9 kills. Livia Trindade second on that list with 5, and Michaela Garrity 4 kills this afternoon. Maine Maritime led by 15 kills from Rachel Mellenby and 8 apiece by Riley Sullivan and Isla Smith. Amelia Devlin and the Beacons on the serve to start this fourth set. Beacons hitting right to left. That one might have went long on Zuber Stevens. She decides to play it. It's played right to Allie Dean. Devlin to Dylan Wurzberger. That one just out. It had the right depth to it, but it goes long over the right sideline. And the first point of the third set goes to Maine Maritime. They take the 1-0 lead, and it's Sydney Rich, their libero, at the service line. Both of the liberos in white tops with black shorts this afternoon. They go right to Dean with that. That sets up Taryn Brogel. Riley Sullivan was there, but, I mean, she was just there in the physical sense. There was no chance she had to return that serve. That is the 10th kill of the afternoon for Taryn Brogel. And a nice answer after the Beacons cede the first point to knot this back at 1 apiece. So it's 1-1 now. Tony Guerra at the service line. Katie Alberton goes cross-court to Rachel Mellenby. And that is going to be a double-touch set by Alberton. Can't do that, and the Beacons take a 2-1 lead. Alberton looks back at her head coach, Tricia Carver. They share a bit of a smile and a laugh. Guerra looking to make it 2 in a row. That one sailed a little bit. Oh, smart play by Rachel Mellenby for her 16th kill of the afternoon. She got both of the middle blockers up off their feet, and once they left their feet, she went with that soft touch, almost akin to chipping a goalie in soccer, if you will. That's her 16th kill, and we're knotted back at 2 apiece here in this fourth set. Well, Amelia Devlin and Allie Dean did the best they could on that one as Devlin was falling forward. Dean had to fall back. They can't make a play on it and get it over the net, and the lead back to Maine Maritime. They go up 3-2. That second set looking more and more like an anomaly as both of these teams seem fairly evenly matched. Brogel, a big slam. There we go. 11 kills now on the afternoon for Taryn Brogel. She matches her total from the Keuka College match. 11 kills, also 5 aces and 2 blocks for her. She's at the service line now. That one's handled nicely by Rich. They pass it to Alberton. Takes a funny hop. Guerra recovers nicely. Cross-court play to Westland. Dug out by Riley Sullivan. Alberton hits it right to Tony Guerra. It gives the Beacons a chance to reset. Devlin goes to Atlas. Atlas pushes it across. Alberton recovers. Malampy from her sweet spot. Dug out by Devlin. Nice play by Brogel, but it comes off her hands funny. A great effort there from Tony Guerra. By the time she got to it, she was already out of bounds off the left sideline. That attempt almost cleared the net, but it's going to be a Mariners point. So here's Malampy at the service line. Big cockback on that kill attempt from Michaela Cleary. It's blocked at the net. Colby Atlas drops to a knee to get to it. Oh, Devlin and Guerra run into each other. Dean not going to have enough mustard on that one to get it over the net. And that is 3 straight points won by Maine Maritime here in the 4th set. They're back up 5-3. Rachel Malampy, 2 service aces this afternoon. That one was a low serve. It was dug out nicely by Maya Kobian. Beacons do a great job to keep that point alive. How about Allie Dean? That's a beautiful return. It sets up Kobian, and it's handled nicely by Sydney Rich. Block at the net, and it's just blocked out of bounds. Cleary did a great job being there to try and answer the swing from Chloe Weeks. But it cascades off her hands out of bounds. It's 4 straight points for the Mariners. And it's probably their best hitter getting it done at the service line. Smart play there by Maya Kobian. She can't get the kill. Dean cross-court pass. Atlas really rifled through that one, but it's dug out nicely by Rich. Alberton, flat-footed hit. Probably should have jumped on that one. You can see her and Sydney Rich there. Maybe that might have been a tense moment. They were laughing it off, but you could see I think Sydney Rich did not want her to make that attempt of a play, and that would have been their first hit of the turn. That's an error every way you draw it up from Katie Alberton, and it might keep the Beacons in this match as Melina Sullivan back at the service line. The junior from Richmond. Goes right to Riley Sullivan. They'll hit it back to Weeks, blocked to the net by Cleary, but now they go right side with Hathorn, and it's blocked at the net. Now somehow that point stayed alive. And no, it is going to be a 4-hit turn. Regardless, it was a beautiful bump play to land that ball inbounds, but it looked like they had already won the point at the net. Yes, they did. And now 2 straight service points for Melina Sullivan, and the Beaks can tie it up here. That one handled by Riley Sullivan. Over to Avia Hathorn. She goes for no man's land. Dug out by Dean, passed by Sullivan. Long kill attempt there from Kobian. It's handled nicely. The block attempt at the net. Trindade and Cleary, both a chance on it. They can't convert, and it's going to be a point for the Mariners. So once again, you see the Beacons get back to within 1, but then cede that potential tying point. They give the serve back to Grace Jennings and Maine Maritime. Grace Jennings had it was 7 points straight off of her serve streak earlier on, and that was back in the 1st set. The Beacons won that set, but you're not going to forget a run and play like that. Nice attempt there by Livia Trindade as that ball was headed on its way to the middle seating section at the Clark Athletic Center. She did all she could just to dive and put a fist on it. But Maine Maritime now, they have won 5 of the last 7 points in this set. That's a big swing on the Trindade kill attempt. It's handled by Malampy, but the pass coasts long. It hits the satellite, and a point back to the Beacons right when they needed it there. That was intended for Riley Sullivan. She couldn't even make a play on it. Dylan Wurtzberger back in for the Beaks. Chloe Weeks back in for the Mariners. And we'll get our first look at Maya Kobian from the service line. She's a freshman hitter from Damascus, Maryland. Getting the instruction from her coaching staff, looks across, flat-footed serve. It pushes Riley Sullivan back a bit. Isla Smith skies up. Allie Dean digs that one out of trouble, no problem. Wurtzberger, touch shot. Beautiful job by Dylan Wurtzberger, the sophomore out of Richardson, Texas there. I think everyone expected just the traditional spike attempt. No, she gives the little pooch shot, the little floater, if you will. Brings the Beacons back to within 1. Kobian still at the service line here. Backwards pass from Alberton. That one might have gone long. Played nicely by Maya. Backdoor pass to Trindade, and it's blocked. Isla Smith at the net. Cool little celebration there from the Mariners, too, after that Isla Smith block. That is her 3rd of the afternoon. She came into action with 9 on the season, so she's up to 12 on the season at the net. Oh, that serve, it went long on Allie Dean. I think she was going to let it go long and then wasn't in the right place to get out of the way of the volleyball. It hit her in the face, and that's going to be a service ace for Grace Jennings. Or pardon me, that's number 1, Honey Zuber-Stevens. They look almost identical out there on the floor. Isla Smith, another kill. She didn't need to spike that one. Instead, just a nice, well-placed touch shot. And Maine Maritime looking a bit like they did in that second set. Really starting to grab this game. They've won 4 of the last 5 points. Sullivan back past the Trindade. Touch shot dug out beautifully by Sydney Rich. Sullivan passes it to Dean, who goes back to Trindade from her sweet spot there. Blocked and handled again by Sydney Rich. Riley Sullivan goes long. That one was just barely long. Good looking shot there off Riley Sullivan's right hand, but it goes long, and the Beacons back to within 3. Taryn Brogel returns to the court, and Allie Dean heads back to the service line. Dean, Kobion, Melina Sullivan, Trindade, Dylan Wurtzberger, and Taryn Brogel on the floor, and Trindade and Brogel were there for the block. They don't hit it cleanly. Nothing Dylan Wurtzberger could have done with that. Point right back to the Mariners. So Maine Maritime, fair play to them. Every chance the Beacons have had to just rustle back some momentum. They've really only ceded 1 point, maybe 2 in a row, and then have won a point right back themselves. They still hold a 4-point lead here. Malampy tried to place that one over. Great job by Wurtzberger. Trindade, it's tipped up, played back by Alberton. Rich goes back to Rachel Mellenby. It's blocked and almost kept alive by Melina Sullivan. That's the name of the game here. If you have an open rafter gymnasium, whatever way the ball bounces off those rafters, it stays in play. And Sullivan, that's a difficult task to have to read the ball off the rafters. She couldn't get to it in time. Riley Sullivan, that shot returned by Kobion directly to Rachel Mellenby, and that's the easiest kill she will get this afternoon. 14-8 the score. The Beacons take a timeout here. We'll take a look back, and it's timing 101 that we were just talking about Rachel Mellenby, and she gets another kill. So we take a look at that matchup before we started today. We knew that Mellenby was going to be a player to watch here. 63 kills coming into action. So that was 63 kills across 6 games. For any of our mental math fans here, that's 10 and a half kills per contest. Well, she's already exceeded that number and has exceeded it and then some. 17 kills already in this contest, which means that Mellenby is up to 80 kills on the season. A bit of a more quiet afternoon from Lauren Westland. 3 kills out of the freshman up to this point in the contest. 6 hitting errors, though, for Lauren. She does have an assist and a service ace as well. About 15 seconds left on the running clock, and head coach Dalavoris and the team taking every second of it. They end their huddle with a nice cheer, trying to keep that pep in the step. If the Beacons turn this game around, it's going to have to be right this second. They trail set number 4, 14-8. They're down in this match 2-1. Maine Maritime, you would have thought they might have had less wind in their sails after such a hard-fought victory earlier. There's a big point for Trindade at the net, and the Beacons back to within 5. It's 14-9, but Maine Maritime, so just covering this one more time, the game directly before this one was Maine Maritime against NEC. Maine Maritime was up 2-1 in the 4th set. They were up 14-2 in that 4th set. They blew that set. They ultimately lost it 28-26 and escaped with a 15-13 5th set win. That one in for Rachel Mellenby, give her 18 kills now on the afternoon. But more or less what I'm getting at is it was right at this point in the match where Maine Maritime had it kind of fall apart on them. So that timeout by head coach Dalavoris trying to just find the opening, see if they could open up those floodgates and get the Beacons back into this contest. Kobion seeing extended minutes here, passes it over to Atlas. Her hit cleaned up. Nice recovery by Amelia Devlin to keep this point alive. Alberton goes back to Mellenby, and she misses. She misses wide left. It misses the sideline. Big play for the Beacons there to get one back, and I think that's just the third hitting error? There's no way that can be right. I'm going to check it again. Yeah, that is just the third error of the afternoon for Rachel Malampy. Up until that point, was hitting over 50%. That drops her back down to 48.1. Big swing there. Guerra goes to the deck trying to keep it alive. Devlin can't get to it in time, and now Maine Maritime cruising through this fourth set, up 16-10 and still on the serve. Katie Alberton running serve. That one trending long, and it goes long. Good decision there by Allie Dean. Every point at a premium right here, and Dean makes the wise decision. Don't play the difficult return. Let it go long. You get it back to Taryn Brogel. Beacon's still in this one, down by 5, 11-16. Rich to Alberton, and that one mishit by Avia Hathorn. Beaks get 2 points in a row right when they need it. We've seen Taryn Brogel have a very impressive day entirely, both games today at the service line. They don't usually ask for a good service game out of her, but another role she's taking on here in this 2022 campaign. Cleary hits it. Devlin keeps it alive. A wide open court, and Chloe Weeks, oh, she would have had all of her team on her back if she missed that one. Basically, every square inch of the court was open, and she plucks an open pocket of space and puts the Mariners back up by 5, 17-12. Malampy at the service line there. Short serve. Wow, it sets up Chloe Weeks in prime territory. And she converts at the net. So the Mariners, another point here. They stretch their lead back to 6. Malampy gets the instructions from Coach Tricia Carver. A little step, not that big of a run. It was a sinking serve, handled well by Kobe On. She's going to take a cross-court kill attempt. Dug out by Rich. Oh, block at the net. Big play from Colby Atlas, turning into a go-to defensive player for the Beacons. That is her 4th kill this afternoon, and she hasn't seen all that much playing time in the rotation today. Timely block. The Beaks needed it, and now Melina Sullivan heads to the service line. Beaks trying to stay afloat here. Sullivan joined by Guerra, Dean, Colbion, Shrindade, and Michaela Cleary on the floor. And that's a block! And Shrindade, her second block of the afternoon, gets the Beacons back to within 4. It's 18-14. Sullivan back at the service line here. Beaks trying to stay in it. Alberton backwards in the direction of Hathorn. Sullivan all the time in the world to Kobe On. She almost converts. Crazy play. Malampy. Oh my goodness. That is an all-everything player. That was the only opportunity. The Mariners had to get a point on that hit. And Malampy knew the one spot where no Beacon would be. She makes a swing and converts for her 19th kill. You don't see too many 20-kill games. She's 1 away. Timeout on the floor, which means we'll take a timeout here in the Clark Athletic Center. Beacons trailing in this 4th set, 19-14.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, and I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. It's all about growing as a person.
Back here inside the Clark Athletic Center, the Beacons trailing in this 4th set, just trying to stay afloat, treading water here. They won the first set 25-23. They fell 11-25 in the second set, 21-25 in the 3rd set, and scrambling to stay afloat here. Big hit by Kobe On. It pushes Malampy back. She has 21 kills on the afternoon. Trindade, stops her run. That was a very smart play. Hathorn was able to go down to one knee and play it in. And another big point for the Mariners. That time it was Grace Jennings on the back line. A little bit of a wry smile out of number 5 as she converts and heads back to the service line. Taryn Brogel leading the way for the Beacons with 11 kills. There are 3 players in double digits for the Mariners as that's mishit by Maya Kobayan, and now Maine Maritime just 4 points away from the victory. You see Jennings and Malampi looking at a spot on the floor here. I don't know if there's like a wet spot on the floor or something, but it definitely has Rachel Malampi's attention. But anyway, so one player, as that one is a service error for Jennings. One player, Brogel, in double-digit kills for the Beacons with 11. In contrast, 3 players on Maine Maritime in double digits. Malampi leading the way with 21. Riley Sullivan with 11. Isla Smith with 10. Maya Kobayan at the service line here for the Beaks. And Isla Smith, another impressive kill. Now 3 players with at least 11 kills for the Mariners. It's really looked like a big 3 out there with 18, 22, and 9. Isla Smith, Riley Sullivan, Rachel Malampi joining forces. And the Beacons, they've had an answer for a lot today, but they haven't had an answer for any of those 3. Wurzburger bumps it across court. It's going to be a touch play by Melina Sullivan over the net. Back set by Alberton. Riley Sullivan dug out by Dean. They look back for Wurzburger. Dylan's shot dug out by Sydney Rich. Across to Riley Sullivan. She goes long. Great bump there by Kobayan. Sullivan to Cleary. That's a heady play by the Beacons to get a hit over there. But Smith right where she needed to be. It's tipped anyway, but it still stays in. That's the 12th kill of the afternoon for Isla Smith. 12 kills, and she definitely has not been out there for even at least half of the points so far in this contest. I tell you what, the Mariners have an impressive player here in terms of in the true freshman from Lexington, Kentucky. A return error for the Beacons, and all of a sudden this game on match point, and it's Honey Zuber-Stevens, the sophomore out of Lubbock, Texas, making her way back to the service line to try and do those honors. Lines it back, handled nicely by Wurzburger. Sullivan to Trindade, and that had some extra mustard on it. Not so fast, says Livia Trindade. She had a quiet game earlier today against Keuka College, coming alive a little bit here in this contest. That is her 8th kill. But a service error from Allie Dean, and that'll do it. Final score, Maine Maritime wins the match 3-1. They fall 23-25 in the first set. They win set number 2, 25-11. They win set number 3, 25-21. And they take set number 4, 25-16. With the win, Maine Maritime stays perfect. They are now 7-0 on the year. UMass Boston, they fall to 2-5. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have the game's final numbers and a wrap-up from here inside the Clark Athletic Center.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
We have gone final inside the Clark Athletic Center as the Beacons fall to 2-5 on the season after suffering a 4-set defeat at the hands of Maine Maritime Academy. Side by side, you see the numbers in front of you there. It was an offensive display from the Mariners. They outkill the Beaks 55-32, and they do it on a very impressive 27% hitting from the floor. The Beacons just 12.2%. Beaks had a big net presence today. There were 8 blocks on the front line for the Beacons. Livia Trindade with 3 of them, 5 by comparison for Maine Maritime. But Maine Maritime got down on the floor a little bit better. 71 digs compared to the Beaks 58. Maine Maritime with 13 service aces to the Beacons 10. Upcoming schedule for women's volleyball. We'll get that one pulled up in just a second here for you. 4 games on the horizon. On Wednesday, the Beacons host Brandeis University. That game gets, or pardon me, that's Tuesday. Got to get my dates right there. 9:13, that's going to be on Tuesday. The Beaks hosting Brandeis University at 7:30. Next Friday, here, Beaks hosting EastCon. That game gets started at 7. You can watch it on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. Then a road contest. The Beaks travel down to Providence to take on Johnson & Wales on the 20th. That'll be 2 Tuesdays from now at 7 p.m. And 2 Thursdays from now, 12 days from today, the Beaks with a conference matchup at Plymouth State. That game getting started at 7 p.m. Real quick before we get going, we're going to take a sneak peek at the Beaks. Today we don't have a final for the men's soccer team at MIT quite yet. Pardon me. Just got that in from our producer, Mike. No, it was a 1-0 loss that the Beaks suffered at the hands of MIT. Good fight, but they lose 1-0. Women's soccer drew 0-0 versus Caltech earlier this morning. Women's tennis, big win at WestCon, 9-0. And earlier today, women's volleyball was victorious versus Keuka College, 3-0. Well, that'll do it for us. Thanks for spending a fun volleyball-filled day with us inside the Clark Athletic Center. For my producer, Michael Vesci, my director, Tam Landry, our camera operator, Paige Olivier, and graphics by Miranda Cuddy, I'm Chris Del Sordo. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.